Captain Krix of the Galactic research vessel Meticulous documentation stared at the warning message emblazoned across the airlock door of the abandoned human outpost. His secondary antennae twitched nervously as he read it for the fourth time. To any civilization finding this facility for your own sanity, don't look for the others. Trust me on this one. Commander Jack Thompson, last human observer, sole remnant outpost 42. Well, Krix muttered, adjusting his regulation perfect uniform collar. That's definitely going in the ominously cryptic section of Form X2749B, unexplained warnings found at abandoned research facilities. Captain. Captain. Oh, my perpetual motion, Captain. The high-pitched squeal of excitement could only belong to Lieutenant Pax, the ship's xenoarchaeologist, whose enthusiasm for dead civilizations' leftovers was matched only by her complete disregard for proper documentation procedures. She came bounding down the corridor in a way that made Krix's exoskeleton itch. No one should be that happy about potentially dangerous archaeological discoveries. You won't believe what I found in the central database. This facility is perfect, pristine, and the dating puts it at only 50 standard years after the great human vanishing. Do you know what this means? Krix sighed. That we'll need to file Form X2749C, potentially hazardous archaeological discoveries in triplicate. No, well, yes, obviously we'll need to file that. But more importantly, this could tell us what actually happened to humanity. This could be the discovery of the century. We might finally learn why an entire species just disappeared. Krix studied the warning again. Something about it made his thorax clench uncomfortably. In his 20 cycles of bureaucratic service, he'd seen plenty of warnings left by extinct or vanished species. Usually they were grandiose, dramatic, full of dire predictions and cosmic horrors. This one was just oddly casual, like someone leaving a note about expired milk in the break room refrigerator. Lieutenant, let's approach this with appropriate caution and procedural adherence. First, we need to. Already started the atmospheric analysis and structural integrity scans. Pax interrupted, waving a data pad. Air's breathable, radiation levels normal, and look, the power systems are still running. They're drawing energy from. That's weird. Define weird, Krix demanded, already mentally filling out Form X2749D unexpected energy signatures in abandoned facilities. According to these readings, the power source is everywhere and nowhere. The energy signatures don't make any sense. It's like the whole facility is powered by some kind of quantum joke. A scratchy voice crackled over their suit comms. Security Chief Zorn here. Perimeter sweep complete. You're going to want to see this, Captain. There's graffiti. Vandalism. Krix brightened slightly. Finally, something normal to document. No, sir. It looks like it was left by the humans. It's a bunch of drawings of something called a dickbutt, and quotes from something called Rick and Morty. Dating suggests they were added just before the facility was abandoned. Pax was practically vibrating with excitement. Don't you see what this means? They weren't in a hurry when they left. They had time to leave jokes. This wasn't an evacuation or an extinction event. They just decided to go somewhere. Krix stared at the warning message one more time. The casual tone, the weird power readings, the juvenile artwork. A horrifying thought began to form in his mind. Lieutenant, he said slowly, what if the humans didn't vanish because of some catastrophe? What if they didn't go extinct or get wiped out by some cosmic horror? What if he swallowed hard? What if they just evolved into something that made them even more human? The lights in the corridor flickered briefly, and somewhere in the facility they could have sworn they heard the faint sound of someone laughing. Pax's eyes widened. Oh my. I need to check the research labs immediately. Think of the data, the discoveries, the forms we'll get to fill out. As she scampered off, Krix pulled out his official captain's log tablet and began to write. First Contact Report Addendum 42B. I am becoming increasingly concerned that humanity's disappearance might be less of a tragedy and more of a prank. Requesting immediate guidance on proper protocols for dealing with potentially ascended species with a questionable sense of humor. Also requiring 17 additional copies of Form X2749E, evidence of cosmic scale practical jokes. The first video log crackled to life in the facility's main control room, displaying a middle-aged human male with a perpetually amused expression. Personal log, Commander Jack Thompson. Day 2467 of watching humanity's leftovers. Note to self, that's a terrible way to start a log entry. Makes it sound like I'm guarding a cosmic refrigerator. Captain Krix leaned forward, antennae twitching. Max, begin analysis. Processing historical data, the ship's AI announced with what Krix always thought was unnecessary enthusiasm. Subject appears to be making a reference to expired nutritional sustenance, though the metaphorical significance is currently processing. Lieutenant Pax bounced excitedly in her seat. Play the next one. The screen flickered, showing Thompson looking considerably more disheveled. So, funny story. Remember how everyone thought humanity would either destroy itself or achieve enlightenment? Turns out those aren't mutually exclusive. We kind of did both. I mean, technically we didn't destroy ourselves, we just got better, way better. Like, reality is our playground better. But man, the paperwork is killing me. Idiom alert, Max chimed in. Reference to documentation causing physical harm detected. Adding to database of potentially dangerous human administrative practices. Krix nodded approvingly. Finally, someone taking proper documentation seriously. The next log showed Thompson juggling what appeared to be small spheres of pure light. Day 2945. The others are really getting the hang of this whole transcending physical form thing. Yesterday, Dave turned himself into a quantum probability wave just to grab the last coffee pod without getting up from his chair. I told him that was a bit extra, but he just laughed and turned into a Klein bottle. Cultural reference unclear, Max announced, attempting to calculate the mathematical possibility of being a bit extra error. Error. Human slang does not compute. Pax was furiously taking notes. This is incredible. They didn't disappear, they figured out how to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality. But why leave? Why abandon all their outposts? Another log began playing. Thompson was now wearing what appeared to be a Hawaiian shirt made of aurora borealis patterns. Look, I'm the last one still keeping my original form, and honestly, it's getting a little awkward. Yesterday, Sarah asked if I wanted to join everyone for fifth-dimensional tennis, and I had to explain that I still need to use doors. Like some kind of primitive. I mean, I'm not throwing shade. Alert, Max interrupted. Detected reference to blocking luminous radiation. Possibility of advanced solar manipulation technology. That's not what that means, Pax sighed. I took an elective in human informal communications. He's expressing mild disapproval while attempting to avoid direct confrontation, a common human social practice that somehow involves meteorological terminology. Krix massaged his mandibles. So let me get this straight. Humanity didn't die out or flee from some cosmic horror. They just evolved beyond physical form and left because it was socially awkward to hang around with their less evolved friends. The final log of the sequence showed Thompson, now sporting a beard that seemed to sparkle with tiny galaxies. Right. This is my last entry. Everyone else has already transcended. And honestly, I'm tired of being the only one who still has to brush their teeth. I've left the facility running on quantum probability energy, thank you, Dave. You show off and set up the warning sign. Not that anyone will listen. They never do. But hey, that's not my problem anymore. I'm off to join the others in their new cosmic playground. Fair warning to whoever finds this if you do manage to track down humanity. Be prepared for an eternity of dad jokes and quantum puns. Thompson out. The screen went dark, leaving the research team in stunned silence. Well, Krix finally said, pulling out his tablet, I suppose we need to file Form X2749F evidence of species-wide astronomical flexing. Processing implications, Max announced. Calculating probability of entire species achieving collective ascension due to boredom. Query, is this what humans referred to as a weird flex but Oklahoma? Pax was already halfway to the door. The research labs. Think of the data they must have left behind. The experiments. The observations. Lieutenant Krix called after her, please remember to file your potentially reality-altering discovery forms in triplicate. But she was already gone, leaving Krix alone with Max and the distinct feeling that this expedition was about to get significantly more complicated. The research lab looked like the aftermath of a quantum physics textbook having a wild party with a biology manual. Holographic displays flickered with genetic sequences that occasionally rearranged themselves into smiley faces, while complex mathematical equations floated in the air, some of them tied into little bow shapes. Analyzing experimental data, Max announced. Detected multiple violations of known physical laws. Also detecting. Are those cat videos encoded in the genetic sequences? Lieutenant Pax was practically dancing from one workstation to another. Look at these notes. They were experimenting with consciousness transfer, quantum state manipulation, and, wait, is that a recipe for quantum-enhanced coffee? Clearly their priorities were in order, Krix muttered, already filling out Form X2749G unauthorized reality-altering beverage modifications. Another video log sparked to life, showing Commander Thompson in what appeared to be the middle of an argument with thin air. Dave, for the last time, just because you can exist in all possible quantum states simultaneously doesn't mean you should attend every Zoom meeting at once. It's showing off, and you're lagging the server. Query, Max interjected. Why would beings capable of transcending spacetime continue to use Zoom? Force of habit, Pax suggested, examining what appeared to be a DNA helix doing the Macarena. The log continued, showing Thompson now wearing a lab coat that seemed to be made of condensed starlight. Update on Project Ascension: turns out the key to transcending physical form wasn't some grand technological breakthrough. We just had to convince the universe that we were too ridiculous to be bound by conventional physics. The quantum mechanics basically gave up and said, fine, do whatever you want, just stop making puns about Schrodinger's cat. Krix's antennae drooped. Are they suggesting they achieved cosmic ascension through annoying the fundamental forces of reality? Calculating probability, Max chimed in. Based on available data about human behavior, this tracks. Another log flickered on, showing Thompson doing what appeared to be interpretive dance with a string theory equation. Day 3112. Maria figured out how to turn herself into a living meme today. Not just sharing memes, actually becoming one. She's currently existing as the "this is fine" dog in every parallel universe simultaneously. HR is having a field day with the paperwork. I don't understand that reference, Krix said. Searching historical databases, Max announced. Found match. Displaying ancient human meme. Oh no, that is definitely not fine. Pax had discovered another workstation. This one covered in sticky notes that seemed to phase in and out of existence. Captain, look at these research notes. They were systematically testing the limits of reality itself. There's a whole section here titled Quantum Shenanigans and Other Party Tricks. The next log showed Thompson looking both impressed and exasperated. Note for the record, we've had to ban interdimensional hide and seek. Turns out when you can exist everywhere and nowhere simultaneously, the game never actually ends. We lost track of Bob for 3 weeks until we realized he'd turned himself into the concept of missing and couldn't figure out how to turn back. Attempting to process implications, Max said. Error. Human capacity for turning cosmic power into party games exceeds computational limits. Look at these genetic modification trials, Pax called out, pointing to a screen showing DNA strands doing what appeared to be synchronized swimming. They weren't just evolving their bodies, they were evolving their entire concept of existence. There's a note here that just says reality is more like guidelines anyway, LOL. The final log in the sequence showed Thompson sitting in what appeared to be a chair made of condensed philosophy textbooks. So, quick update, we've officially reached the point where the laws of physics are more like physics suggestions. Yesterday, someone turned the Planck constant into a variable just because they thought it would be funny. I'd say we've gone too far, but apparently. Too far is now a relative concept that Dave keeps in a jar on his desk. I'm starting to think this might be why advanced civilizations don't usually give their class clowns the keys to the universe. Krix stared at the screen, then at his tablet, then back at the screen. I don't think we have a form for this. Suggestion, Max offered. Perhaps file under miscellaneous cosmic hijinks. The implications are staggering, Pax breathed, eyes shining with excitement. They didn't just transcend physical form, they transcended the very concept of transcendence. They turned the universe into their personal playground and then got bored and went looking for new dimensions to explore. It's like teenagers with cosmic powers, Krix groaned. No wonder they left that warning. They're probably embarrassed by their early attempts at reality manipulation. It's like finding your old social media post from school. Processing new hypothesis, Max announced. Humans may not have disappeared. They may have simply achieved unlimited cosmic power and decided to use it for entertainment purposes. A nearby quantum equation suddenly rearranged itself into a thumbs-up emoji, then winked out of existence. Krix felt a headache coming on. Lieutenant, please tell me we at least have some normal, comprehensible data we can put in our report. Pax held up a tablet showing what appeared to be a cat video spliced with the fundamental equations of the universe. Defy normal. Captain Krix stood in what had once been the facility's break room, staring at a coffee machine that was somehow brewing drinks from every possible universe simultaneously. A mug on the counter contained what appeared to be liquid starlight with a perfect creamer. Analysis complete, Max announced, somehow managing to sound both impressed and terrified. Humans did not develop new technology to achieve transcendence. They appear to have talked the universe into it. That's not possible, Krix muttered, watching as the coffee machine dispensed what looked like a cappuccino made of quantum probability waves. You can't just convince reality to change its rules. Lieutenant Pax burst into the room, waving a tablet. Actually, sir, according to these notes, that's exactly what they did. Look at this excerpt from Thompson's personal journal. A holographic display flickered to life, showing Thompson lounging in what appeared to be a chair made of pure mathematics. So funny story, turns out the universe has a sense of humor. We kept pointing out all the weird contradictions in quantum mechanics, making jokes about wave-particle duality, and generally poking fun at how reality works. Then one day the universe basically went, "You think this is funny? Fine. You try running things for a while and..." Well, we took that personally. Calculating implications, Max chimed in. Probability of universe developing sense of humor previously considered 0. Adjusting calculations. Error. Error. Existence harder to quantify than expected. Another log entry appeared, showing Thompson trying to organize what appeared to be a staff meeting with various beings of pure energy. Today's agenda: 1. Discussion of proper protocols for interdimensional travel. 2. Reminder that turning yourself into a quantum supposition to avoid meetings is still considered an unexcused absence. And 3. Please stop leaving alternate timeline versions of yourself to attend mandatory training sessions. Yes, Dave, we know it was you. Krix's antennae were now twitching so rapidly they were starting to blur. Are you telling me that humanity achieved godlike powers and immediately used them to skip meetings? Affirmative, Max confirmed. Detecting multiple instances of humans using cosmic powers for increasingly trivial purposes. Example: someone identified as Karen from accounting apparently reformed the entire concept of mathematics to avoid doing expense reports. Pax had discovered another log, this one showing Thompson looking increasingly exasperated. Update on the Ascension situation: we've had to establish new guidelines. Yes, you can exist in all possible states simultaneously. No, you cannot use this ability to attend every happy hour in the multiverse at once. Looking at you, marketing department. But why leave the warning? Krix wondered aloud. If they achieve such power, why warn others not to look for them? The answer came in the form of another log entry. Thompson was now wearing what appeared to be a suit made of condensed philosophy debates. Look, we need to be honest here. We've become that friend who got really into CrossFit or cryptocurrency, but on a cosmic scale. Nobody wants to hang out with us anymore because we can't stop talking about how we've transcended the need for physical form and how maybe they should try it too. It's getting awkward. Processing social dynamics, Max announced. Comparing to historical records of human behavior. Conclusion: humans achieved unlimited cosmic power and became universal hipsters. It gets better, Pax said, pulling up another log. Listen to this. Thompson appeared again, now looking slightly embarrassed. So, we tried attending an intergalactic civilization conference last week. It didn't go well. Every time someone tried to discuss their technological achievements, one of us would pipe up with, "Oh, that's cute. But have you tried existing as pure thought? We've basically become that guy who studied abroad for a semester and won't shut up about it. Except instead of studying in Paris, we figured out how to turn ourselves into living concepts." Krix collapsed into a chair that helpfully materialized beneath him. They're not warning people away because they're dangerous. They're warning people away because they've become insufferable. Correct, Max confirmed. Additional context discovered multiple complaints from other ascended civilizations about humans showing off and making everything weird. Specific mention of someone named Dave turning the concept of Tuesday into a juggling performance. Another log flickered to life, showing what would be Thompson's last official recording. Final update: we've decided to move on to higher dimensions. Not because we have to, but because it's getting really hard to have normal conversations with anyone when you technically exist everywhere and everyone simultaneously. Plus, some of us have started turning physics equations into musical numbers, and honestly, I don't think the universe can take much more of that. Pax was practically vibrating with excitement. Don't you see what this means? Humanity didn't disappear because of some tragedy or threat. They just evolved beyond the point where they could have normal social interactions. Like that friend who gets really into yoga and starts talking about their chakras, Krix asked weakly. Analyzing analogy, Max chimed in. Correction, like that friend who gets really into yoga and becomes one with the fundamental forces of the universe. A final note materialized on the break room wall, written in what appeared to be condensed starlight. EPS. If you're reading this, sorry about the coffee machine. Dave thought it would be funny to teach it quantum mechanics. On the plus side, it now makes the objectively perfect cup of coffee. On the minus side, drinking it might cause you to temporarily exist in all possible states of caffeination simultaneously. We'd fix it, but honestly, it's kind of hilarious. Krix stared at the coffee machine, then at his tablet, then at the infinite void of space visible through the window. Lieutenant, I believe we're going to need a new form. Something along the lines of encountering evidence of civilizations that achieved enlightenment and immediately used it for dad jokes. A quantum equation in the corner of the room rearranged itself into a smiley face and winked. The facility's central database had begun spontaneously organizing itself into a PowerPoint presentation, complete with unnecessary slide transitions and Comic Sans font. I believe, Krix said slowly, watching as clip art from another dimension danced across the screen, that the humans are actively mocking our investigation. Affirmative, Max confirmed. Detecting traces of what humans called trolling. Also detecting is that the entire history of human meme culture encoded in quantum states. Lieutenant Pax was frantically taking notes as the presentation flipped through slides titled, "So you found our old stuff, a guide to why we're not coming back and 10 reasons why transcending physical form is better than yoga number 7 will shock you." "Oh stars above," Krix muttered, reading from a newly materialized slide. According to this, humans didn't just become energy beings. They became energy beings who got really into experimental performance art. The next slide showed what appeared to be a complaint form filed by another ascended species to whom it may concern. Please ask the humans to stop turning the fabric of space-time into an improvisational jazz venue. Some of us are trying to contemplate eternal truths here. Processing new information, Max announced. Humans appear to have achieved enlightenment and immediately used it to annoy other enlightened beings. Look at this section, Pax exclaimed, pointing to a series of interdimensional incident reports. Apparently, they tried to start a cosmic social media platform. They called it Spacebook. It failed because everyone's status updates were simultaneously occurring in all possible timelines. Another slide materialized common questions from primitive species. No offense, but you still use gravity, so. Q, why did you leave? Have you ever tried to hang out with people who still need to breathe? Super awkward. Q, where did you go? Air everywhere and nowhere. Mostly the coffee shop between dimensions. They have great Wi-Fi. Q, can we achieve what you achieved? Probably. But maybe work on not taking selfies with black holes first. Krix pulled out his tablet, then stared at it helplessly. How do you even file a report about a species that exists in a superposition of all possible bureaucratic categories? Attempting to generate appropriate form, Max offered. Error. Error. Humans have achieved administrative Schrödinger states simultaneously filed and unfiled. A new document materialized, titled Human Ascension for Dummies, written by Dave. Obviously. Look, it's not that we don't want to hang out with other species. It's just that every conversation goes the same way. Them. How did you achieve such power? Us, we kind of just vibed with the universe until it gave up them. That's not a scientific explanation. US science is more of a suggestion now than existential crisis. EPS. Dave says hi. He's currently existing as the concept of saying hi, which we've all agreed is a bit much, but you know how Dave gets. Pax was bouncing with excitement. Don't you see? The warning wasn't about danger, it was about saving everyone from the most awkward conversations in the universe. Like when someone gets really into cryptocurrency, Krix asked weakly. Correction, Max interjected. Like when someone transcends the physical plane and 1T stopped talking about their new diet of pure quantum probability. A final note appeared, written in what looked like condensed philosophy debates. Dear whoever found this place, we're not hiding. We're not in danger. We're just tired of trying to explain to physical beings why we turned Thursday into a jazz solo or why we're using dark matter for interpretive dance. It's not you, it's us. We've become the cosmic equivalent of that friend who went to Burning Man once and came back totally transformed. Yes. If Dave tries to show you his collection of quantum state photos, just say you have to go exist in another dimension. Trust us on this one. Humanity currently vibing in dimension 42.jpg. Krix looked at his tablet one last time, then carefully set it down. Lieutenant, I believe we've found something worse than a species that achieved godlike power. We found a species that achieved godlike power and turned it into an endless series of dad jokes. Updating threat assessment, Max announced. Humanity status not dangerous, just really, really embarrassing. As the research team prepared to leave the facility, one final hologram flickered to life. Commander Thompson appeared, now existing in what seemed to be every possible state of casual Friday simultaneously. If you're watching this, you clearly didn't heed the warning. Classic primitive species move, no offense. So I guess I owe you the full explanation. Humanity isn't gone. We're not dead. We're not hiding from some cosmic horror. We just evolved into that really annoying friend who went on a spiritual journey and won't shut up about it. Processing final message, Max announced. Comparing to known human behavioral patterns. Conclusion: humanity achieved cosmic transcendence and immediately became Universe S embarrassing parents. Look. Thompson's hologram continued. We tried staying in contact with physical beings. But do you know how hard it is to maintain a conversation when you exist as pure consciousness? Every chat turns into an impromptu TED talk about higher dimensions. We're like cosmic vegans. We literally can't help telling everyone about our lifestyle choices. Lieutenant Pax was still taking notes. Fascinating. They didn't isolate themselves out of superiority, but out of social anxiety. Yesterday, the hologram sighed. Dave tried to explain our existence to a Type AI civilization by turning their entire star system into an interpretive dance routine. Their response was to develop faster than light travel just to get away from his quantum poetry slam. Krix watched as his tablet spontaneously reorganized itself into a series of increasingly absurd form categories. So the great mystery of humanity's disappearance is that they got too awkward to hang out with. We're still around, Thompson explained, just doing our own thing. Sometimes we pop into lower dimensions as cosmic tourists. You can usually spot us, we're the ones taking selfies with black holes and asking quantum singularities if they have gluten-free options. The hologram flickered as Thompson adjusted his tie, which appeared to be made of condensed philosophical arguments. So yeah, that's why we left the warning. Not because we're dangerous, but because we've become that relative who corners you at family gatherings to talk about their latest multi-level marketing scheme. Except instead of essential oils, we're selling transcendence of the physical form. Updating final analysis, Max chimed in. Humans achieved unlimited cosmic power, primarily use it for dad jokes and avoiding social obligations. As the team headed back to their ship, one last message appeared on every surface of the facility simultaneously. PS. If you're wondering why your technology started acting weird during your visit, that's just Dave. He gets excited around new people and can't help showing off. He's currently existing as the concept of technical difficulties just to make this message more dramatic. We keep telling him it's too much, but you know how Dave is. PPS. Yes, we can see you reading this. No, we won't come say hi. It's not that we don't like you, it's just, how do we put this? You still experience time linearly. It's kind of a deal breaker. PPS. Dave says hi. He's saying it in every possible dimension simultaneously. Classic Dave. Back on the research vessel, Captain Krix sat down to file his final report. He stared at the blank form for a long moment before beginning to type. Official report regarding the investigation of human disappearance status located, sort of threat level, non-embarrassment level maximum. Conclusion: humanity has not gone extinct, been destroyed, or fallen to some cosmic horror. They have simply evolved into the universal equivalent of that person who studied abroad for 1 semester and won't stop talking about it. Recommendation warning was accurate. Don't look for them. They'll only try to show you their quantum vacation photos and tell you about how they're really into existing in 11 dimensions right now. Additional note: all forms related to this investigation have achieved quantum superposition and now simultaneously exist in every possible state of being filed and unfiled. Final addendum: Dave, if you're reading this across dimensions, please stop adding clip art to my official reports. A quantum equation in the corner of the report briefly rearranged itself into a winking emoji before disappearing into a higher dimension.